So today, again with the background of creative analytic reading, creative analytic thinking, creative analytic reflection, which are practiced
It's
by
1945.
looking at the reference of every words and sentences. We already covered a beautiful Zen parable, the woodcutter, the master woodcutter. Then we had an excursion into the famous nursery rhyme, Jack and Jill went up the hill. And now we are once again, for a variation also, we are trying to see, trying to live along, trying to move along as invisible apparitions with the central characters of the beautiful Eastern parable called The Sound of the Forest. This parable was originally published in Harvard Business Review 1995 or so, or 1990. This was the parable, along with 4 other parables, printed in the most valuable or most inaccessible pages of perhaps the topmost journal in the world in management called Harvard Business Review. And as an introductory, there was a 1-page article on leadership. The name of the article also was The Parables of Leadership. It was just a 1-page, 3-paragraph kind of article in which the leadership mindset. Leader is, of course, one of the adjectives we use, like we use the word genius, the word manager, the word good. Leader basically, let us say, just a creative individual in the domain of organizations. So that 1-page article ended up with a tentative so-called definition of leadership. That is the ability to hear the unspoken, to see the invisible, to look at reality from different vantage points, humility, commitment, and competency to draw the unique strengths of every member in the organization. That was the definition. And that 1-page article was followed by 5 parables, Eastern parables, apparently Chinese parables, and parable number 1 was The Sound of the Forest. I do not know clearly whether this parable is used as a case study in the leadership classes compulsorily done in most of the world-class management institutions. To my knowledge, no. This is just presenting before you as the background of the material. As I told you, you should also give the background of a material, of a dialogue, of a situation, of an idea to the audience, whether they are interested in it or not. Because of the simple reason that everything exists in a background. Am I right? So I just gave you the background of that 1-page case or parable. I could have started even without giving this background. you may not be able to differentiate or discriminate or identify what unique advantage you have had by listening to the background of this case or parable, which you are anyway going to discuss left, right, top, bottom, 360-degree angle from different vantage points. What do you think? Why do you need the background of a thing? Are you really interested in hearing the backgrounds of things? Do you believe that my giving you the background or the inside story of this parable is of any advantage for you in the ensuing discussion of the parable?
It does focus attention, sir, the parable from different contexts, rather than just a standalone story with a metaphor. It's been called out as something which was thought about as significant by not just the Chinese origination of the culture, but even a Western standardized management group or a magazine. Also that it has gone across to multiple people at management levels. That brings a different degree of weightage and attention to it, consciously or unconsciously.
Yeah, you're right, Tintin. That's why I talked one sentence about Harvard Business Review also. Every management researcher or faculty anywhere in the management schools of the world, they would really aspire for at least one of their articles to be published in Harvard Business Review. Every page of it is very, very costly, very valuable, very properly edited with absolute care and concern by a dedicated group of editorial board members. So in such a journal, an article on leadership which covered 6 pages, I suppose, maybe 7 also, and 5 of the pages were nothing but let's say parables or conventional language stories, as Tintin suggested. That itself is a clear signal about the possibilities of insights and perspectives and ideas that you can develop out of meditating on that parable. Though that parable is about hearing the unspoken, I think every one of you must try to listen to the unspoken in the very parable itself, the invisible in the parable itself. When the lead article of the parables mentioned that leadership involves the ability to look at things from different vantage points, you will look at the very parable from different vantage points. With the humility or openness of mind and commitment, that means complete dedication of our attention to do what we want to do in the most beautiful and complete way. And the definition goes to say that to draw the unique strengths of every member in the country. Similarly, to draw the possible unique strengths we can identify within ourselves by reflecting upon this parable as a mirror, as a springboard for reflection. All right? Yeah. Welcome to the sound of the forest. A most brilliant parable which I have used in many of my training programs in what I call genius leadership. In organizations, I used to ask the senior managers to enact the role of the characters in the parable in long 3-day night level programs. And they all said it was an unforgettable experience in their life, even after 2, 3, 4, 5 years. All right. So once again, welcome to the sound of the forest. Please sit down and for about 2 minutes close your eyes and try to see that courageous prince, young prince, going to the forest. Let's begin by our commitment to delve deep into every detail of the parable. That every detail would include actually seeing an image of that boy, at least, and of the huge and dangerous Mingli forest. All right? So 2 minutes of reflection to see that boy who is getting ready to go. Good luck.